evening and welcome. You're watching The Big Story on NDTV Profit and I'm Nupur Talwar Suri. Well, if you are a fresher that's about to enter the job market, here is some good news for you. 72% of employers in India are looking to hire freshers in the second half of 2024. Now, this is according to a survey by TeamLease EdTech. Companies' hiring intent has gone up by 4% from the second half of the previous year. Now, the report is based on a survey of over 603 companies across India. E-commerce and technology startups, engineering and infrastructure, and retail are the top 3 industries most likely to hire freshers. Now, if we talk about the cities, then Bangalore, of course, leads the way with 74% employers having the hiring intent, now followed by Mumbai at 60% and Chennai at 54%. In fact, Shantanu Rooj, the founder and CEO of TeamLease, is here to talk with us about this report. Hi, Shantanu. Thank you very much for joining us. Shantanu, of course, the survey will come as great news for anyone who's just entering the job market, and also a bit of a relief since, there's been a lot of concern on how hiring graduates has slowed down. What are the factors, essentially, that are now changing this trend?
So, Nupur, thank you for having me here. So we have been hearing about a lot of stuff about graduate employability all this while, but if you read these reports carefully, you realize that most of them are centered around engineering graduates all this while. However, if you see the last few years, we have witnessed various phases of hiring. First, we saw the frenzy of hiring after COVID. We saw the great resignation phase. We saw the great layoff phase. But currently, what happened is because of all of these, employers went through a great learning curve. They started realizing that just hiring lateral talents at a very high cost is not adding up to the ROI that they're looking for. And hence, while for the middle tier managers and the supervisors, they will still look at a lateral hire, but for the entry-level workforce, they're willing to hire freshers who have the requisite skill sets, education, and possibly a bit of experience. They're willing to invest in them to create their own talent supply pool because otherwise the ROI doesn't work out for most of the employers. I think there's a great realization. That's one. The second part is that the India growth story is a real story. The domestic consumption is actually for real. So most companies who actually align with the India growth story, and you talked about the engineering, infra, construction, retail, e-commerce, tech startup, all of these industries are actually growing at a frenzy space. And interestingly, Nupur, the growth is just not confined to those few metros. I mean, it's happening all around. That's the interesting part today from the report that's we realized.
And of course, Shantanu, that growth is essentially cut off from global recession that everybody is talking about. So that is the focus area as far as employment is also concerned. Now, in your report, you mentioned that e-commerce and the startup space seems to be buzzing again. Give us more insights on how fresher hiring is picking up in that segment.
So if you see, there are 2 different segments here. E-commerce actually is about digitalized versions of the traditional businesses. And that segment in India is growing at a rapid pace. And that means that it's opening up multiple job roles inside those e-commerce companies. Be it sales, customer service, digital marketing, warehouse management, logistics. All of these things are places where these employers need to hire in large numbers, freshers which are trainable at this point in time. That's the one place that we saw. Other thing, because of the entire digitalization of the economy, you're seeing a lot of these tech startups in various industries. Pick up any industry, I'm sure there is a digital version of the avatar of that particular industry, which is shaping up somewhere and being disrupted by some of the entrepreneurs there. All of these companies are looking to hire fresh talents because these fresh talents come with they're not fresh anymore. If you look at it from 5 years back, the freshers were different from freshers which are available today. Today's freshers are more aware. They are more digitally native. They are more inquisitive. They're aware that just education is not working out. They need to showcase educational skills. They're more risk-taking and they're willing to work for a purpose. If you see, these category of new generation of freshers that are coming up are an interesting opening balance for any tech startup company. That's the spirit that they're looking for. I think some of these things are driving this frenzy there.
Right now, with the government's focus on the internship program, what becomes extremely important is the collaboration between industry and higher educational institutions so that we are able to provide that skill set that essentially is required to drive this internship program. So does your survey also point towards that?
Yes. So, as part of the survey, talked about this entire concept of degree apprenticeships. These are innovative programs which bring in the on-the-job learning while the student is already doing some sort of online learning at the university. These programs are interesting because they embed the concept of earn while you learn. There's a concept of learning by doing, which means there is academic understanding as well as skill building, and these are courses with very high amount of employer signaling value. Now, these courses are becoming very interesting for the employers because traditionally, if you look at it in Nupur, employers has always been complaining about the fact that universities do not give them the type of graduates that they're looking for who can actually fill up their open positions. They're starting getting tired of it. This type of new courses are actually sit at the intersection of education and employment. These are programs which are co-parented by the university or the college on one hand, employer on the other hand. Both of these people, one side is teaching them theory, second time teaching them practical hands-on skills. At the same time, they also bring in some innovative funding and financing of education. These courses are becoming interesting, and hence there is a government policy announcement by our finance minister sometime in the union budget. All of these things, I think, is putting tailwinds toward this new product, which is degree apprenticeship or internship, apprenticeship, work-linked degree program. In this new world of in this new world of work, Nupur, we believe that every corporate is a university, every manager is a faculty, and work is the new curriculum. If you can showcase this part, I think every youth has the potential of becoming employed. This is
Wait.
the greatest revolution of higher education in this country.
Oh yes, absolutely, and every employer will be looking for a certain, skill set. Shantanu, everybody who's watching this show will want to know one thing. What are the courses that are in demand from an employability point of view? What is it that students and their parents should perhaps be focusing on?
So let's look at it differently. Let's look at what type of skill sets the employer is looking for. Then, because your courses that you will select will be ultimate derivative of that. So there are hard skills and soft skills. And Satya Nadella famously said last week that soft skills today are becoming as important as hard skills. And he's absolutely right in this case. I come from a company called TeamLease, and our claim to fame has been that over the last 10 years, we have hired one person every 5 minutes in this country. Now, that tells us that some part of the understanding of the employer is embedded into the entire TeamLease DNA. We've realized that over the last few years, there, in terms of hard skills, if you look at technical skills, there are job roles which are becoming important. In the tech space, for example, we are aware that cloud, data, and AI are the most important hard skills. But most important soft skills is something that people need to focus on. These are the traditional soft skills of problem solving, that the concept of learnability, continuous learning, the ability to work in teams, the ability to becoming empathetic to your colleagues. I think the soft skills are becoming very important because employers today care about 5 different things: reading, writing, arithmetic, relationships, and digital. If you have all of these fives, there is an employer who is willing to hire you and take risk on you.
All right, absolutely. So that seems to be the way to go. So you've got to balance your soft skills along with the degree that you are pursuing. Shantanu, thank you very much for joining us and bringing us all those details.
Thank you so much.
All right, if you're looking for a job and you're a graduate, things might just be looking up for you. We slip into a very short break. On the other side, we will be focusing on the Prime Minister's visit to Ukraine and what this could mean for India-Ukraine ties. Stay with us.